guys! Welcome to the 6th video in my Python tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about operators we can use in Python for math operations. Arithmetic operators are some of the most frequently used, and they allow us to perform most operations seen in daily life, such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We identify these with the following. With these, we can define operations like if we run these examples, we'll see the results are what we expect. This type of operations can also be performed with variables. For example, we can perform whatever operations we want, basically, showing them in our console. Or we can store the operation's result in a new variable. If we run the code, we'll see we get the expected results in our console. There are other frequently used arithmetic operators, which are the exponent, defined with 2 asterisks, the modulus, which returns the remainder of a division and is defined with the percent sign, and the integer or floor division, which performs a division and returns only an integer quotient and is defined with 2 division signs. Let's look at some examples. And now we print them. If we run the code, we'll see that, as we'd expect, bar 3 is the result of 22 to the power 5. You can check that with a calculator if you want. Then bar 4 is 2, because the remainder of 22 divided by 5 is 2. And lastly, bar 5 is 4, because 5 by 4 is 20. So we can't fit 5 again completely within 22 with no remainder. It's important to note, because it's heavily used, that we can increment the value of a variable and store that new value in the same variable. We do it this way. Even though it seems like the equation doesn't make any sense, we must think of it as a way to increment x's value by 2 units and store the incremented value in x. If x was 5, now it's 7. This is used a lot, so much so that we have what's known as assignment operators. Within them, we have the equal sign, but we can combine that with others, like this. This expression means the same as x is equal to x plus 2. It's a simplified way to write it, used often and important to know, since many programmers work with this notation. So we can combine many of the signs we've been talking about, like in these examples. Let's look at logical operators, shall we? A logical operation is one that allows us to check a condition so that we get a Boolean value of true if the condition is true, or false if it's not true. Some standard logical operators are the following. First one is a double equal sign, not to be confused with the assignment operator equal, since they serve different purposes. The assignment operator, represented with a single equal sign, is used to assign value to a variable. On the other hand, if we have two equal signs together, this is a comparison, so we want to compare the number, constant, or expression to its left with the one to its right and see if they really are equal. If they are, the whole expression returns the value true, and if they aren't, the whole expression returns the value false. Let's look at this example to make it clear. We can see that the logical expression is clearly false, since 2 is not equal to 3. So if we run the code, we'll see that it returns false. Likewise, if we write this, we'll see that the expression returns true. This type of expressions will be really useful later on when we start working with conditional statements. Let's continue with the second expression we had written. This one is the opposite of the double equal. It returns true if the values to its left and right are different, and false if they're equal. For example, this returns false, since it's not equal to 4, so they're equal. Then we have operators less than and greater than, which compare the values to their left and right, so check if the value on the right is greater than or less than the one on the left. Let's look at some examples. We can see the first condition is true. 3 is less than 5, and so the first value returned is true. But then we print the value resulting from checking if 5 is less than 3, and because that is not true, we get the value false. A similar thing happens with the expressions less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. These check whether the value to their left is greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to the value to their right. For example, this also applies to variables or expressions. For example, we can see that the result of this is true, because the expression first gets the result of 2 plus 3, which is 5, and then compares it to 4. Since 5 is greater than 4, the result is true. With variables, it's the same story. Likewise, we write expressions with variables and check their values. For example, we can see that the expression returns true, so it's working as expected. And that's it for today. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and code up!